Tonight is the yard side of our dear friend Daniel's grandmother, Sarah Bat Rachel, slicha. What? Hey, Rachel. Amen. We're just going to say a couple of minutes of the very Torah because we have to start the Otzrot Shiur. Tonight is a very, very powerful night. It's the 29th of Sivan, which means it's Erev Rosh Chodesh. That means tomorrow night is Rosh Chodesh, the new month. And we're getting into the summer months, which, as we know, as I said on Shabbat, whoever was in Sudash Lishid, we're getting into the boundaries of Esav. As we know, the Yetzirah comes out full force. Kechom Hayom, as this is by Avraham Avinu. After he got a Brit Milah, he was sitting in Petach HaOhel, right by the tent, Kechom Hayom. So the Chom Hayom is the Esav. It's the heat, it's the fire of the Yetzirah. But Am Yisrael, it's not the first time going through such a thing, and it won't be our last time. That's why we're Am Yisrael. The famous song, Am Yisrael lo mefached. Am Yisrael lo mefached. Jewish people never were afraid, and they cannot. I want to share with you guys a beautiful story. We had this week's parasha, Korach went against Moshe. So the rabbi over here said, I don't know if you guys understood anything he said. It was deep, but I'll tell you, because the lack of communication, the lack of the language barrier, the things he said right now were amazing. Kabbalistically amazing. Maybe only the guys in the Otzrot Chaim Shiur will fully understand them, or at least get a glimpse into what he's saying. But everyone here in Lashem has some Kabbalistic background. He said there are some times in your life, what's judgment? The Gemara says if you put your hand in your pocket, you're looking for a dime, and you came out with a nickel, that's a judgment. You just went through suffering. Happens to me a lot. I go to the car, when I'm driving, I put my car in my left pocket. But then automatically when I come to lock the car, when I come out, I'm looking in my right pocket, and I say, damn it, it's in my left pocket. That's suffering. That's suffering. That takes away your averot, by the way. Yes. Every suffering, so it's good, right? Wow. So you want suffering? Oh, you want the small suffering, right? Imagine if it happened all the time, though. It would be pretty bad, right? So how do you take away that suffering? That Gevura. What's Gevura? Gevura means strength. You know what strength means? Put your head through the wall. I only know one way. Straight. I don't go around. What's Chesed? Chesed is water. Water finds a path. It'll make its way to the point, but he won't go straight, because water is a liquid. He goes with the flow. Fire is not like that. Fire consumes everything. Anything that's in its path, it'll consume it. But fire is amazing, right? The ancient Greeks, they worshipped a god called Prometheus, I think. A man that stole fire from the gods. I believe in such a thing. That there was a man called Prometheus, something like that. I believe that's what his name was. If I don't know the exact name, even better. He went up to the gods. He found fire over there, and he stole it, and he brought it back to humanity. So obviously it's shtiyot, but what's behind fire? It's such an amazing creation. Back in the day, how would they make fire? They would rub two woods. I remember as a kid, they took us to upstate, some kind of working, learn to live in the outdoors. So one of the things we had to do, I'm not really sure. You remember? No? Maybe it was camp. No, you were with us. It was grade school. Maybe 6th, 7th grade. We went upstate, and one of the things we had to do is we had to rub two pieces of wood together to make fire. Until we had that fire, I think my hands went on fire over there. That's how hot it was. And then people got smarter. They started to do it with rocks or metal. Okay. And things went higher and higher. So fire is a big thing. We need fire. Fire cooks, right? Fire gives us heat. Fire gives us warmth. You like the warmth, right? But fire has an issue. He doesn't like it when something goes against it. It doesn't go with the flow. Gavriel, right? Likes to go straight. Now we have fire, Gevura, strength, and Chesed. Chesed is what? Kindness, not mercy. Mercy is Tiferet. Kindness is, you know what kindness is? You could walk all over me, I'm still going to give you what you want. That's what Chesed is. There's no boundaries. There is no mercy. There is it's the middle, you know. Why do you have mercy on somebody? Because you're hurting him, right? So that's tiferet. That's the middle. There's a middle point. But Chesed, there's no boundaries. I'll always give. That's why, like my father was saying, Korach, what was his issue? He was cheap. Why? A person who has Gevura, what's his issue? It's everything is boundaries. No. That's why when you go to a rich person, you're asking for tzedakah. What is his first answer? Here's $1. Say thank you. I gave you that $1. Thank you. So you're like, what do you mean? But that's Gevura. That's his test. A person who's poor, he doesn't have that test. So he'll be poor, and what will he give you? He doesn't make month's rent. What will he give you? He'll give you $100. Why? It's not his test. It's easy for him to do it because he's chesed. His test is something else. Where to put the boundaries, how to put more gevura in his life. So you see, you can't really judge any human being because everyone has a different test. Okay? One is a kamtzan and one is too much of a chazdan. You can't really judge anyone. But my father was saying something very, and I have to explain this to you because it's just chaval that this idea goes over your head. Sometimes you could sweeten the judgment. How do you sweeten the judgment? The gevura? You add chesed to it, right? So for example, you want to cook something. You have the water in a pot and under it you have fire. If I put the water, it's gone. So I put a pot, chatzitza, I put the water, and what do you get?
Fire and water.
You get a cook. You're cooking. Amazing. So when they work in unison, in harmony, that's what a marriage is, right? What's a marriage? It's a unison of fire and water. Boiling water. And what can you do without boiling water, especially if you're from the Orient? Everything is green tea. Am I right or wrong? What can you do without it? You can't do anything without it. You need to cook. So sometimes you could sweeten the judgment, the fire, by going through a deeper fire. What does that mean? What stops fire? A stronger fire.
Does it make it bigger?
No. What makes it bigger? The bigger fire consumes the smaller fire. That's how you stop it. And that's the greatest thing. According to the Ari Kadosh, that's the greatest thing. There's nothing so how does that work? Let's look at our story. Moshe Rabbeinu and Korach were really brothers. They were cousins, but really they were brothers. How? Korach was the reincarnation of Cain. Moses was the reincarnation of Hevel. Who? Absolutely, but they came from their Shorshei Neshamot. So Cain and Hevel fixed whatever they fixed. Whatever was left over of them came down as Moshe and Korach. So they were really what? They were brothers. In the previous reincarnation, Cain was the Kohen, Cain was the elder, Cain was the king. And what did he still do? He killed Hevel. So Hashem said, let me see what you do the other way around, because both of their souls went up to heaven, and they said, Cain said, if I was the younger brother, and I would bring the Korban, Gabriel. Why do you say Korban? The sacrifice, he would have killed me too. That's what he said. So Hashem said, you know what? Let me test out that theory. Let's give it a shot. So he sends them back down. Where do we see that Korach brought a korban? Every single second that they were traveling, he was bringing a korban. He carried the Aron HaKodesh. Do you know what happens when somebody touches the Aron Kodesh? He dies. He turns into a sacrifice. He wasn't just a sacrifice. He was a living sacrifice. And what did Moshe Rabbeinu do? Nothing. Did God choose Moses to carry the Aron Kodesh? No. He wasn't a correct vessel to do so. But still, Korach, which is really who? Cain got jealous. Of what? We have a rule in halacha. You're not allowed to eat food in front of a dead person. You can't eat in front of a dead person. You're not allowed to say a hello in front of a casket. You can't say the word shalom. Shalom aleichem, how are you? How you doing? You can't smoke. Absolutely. That's for a different reason, but same thing. You can't smoke in the cemetery even. You're not allowed to talk Torah in front of a casket. You know why? The dead person gets jealous.
How? But he's already dead.
How? He's already dead. The young one asks. There's no smoking in heaven? I feel bad for all the smokers. Why you're not allowed to do that? Why do you think, Gevura? Yeah. You have to, yeah. So what's the problem? But that you're doing lichvodo. That's what you're doing for his honor. I'll tell you. Any addiction that you have in your while you're alive right now, you keep the addiction. Did you know that? It's scary. You're not hungry. The soul is not hungry. But when he sees you eating, he gets hungry. You like to chat with your buddies? Yeah, why not? If I have a really good buddy and he calls me, has some juicy gossip. So imagine the person passes away and two people are just sitting by the casket having a cigarette and just they're just watching the body. Yeah, what's up? You know, how you doing? This and that. Hello, I'm right here. And you are right there. He gets jealous. You're eating. He gets jealous. Korach was who? Was Cain. He got jealous when he was Cain. He didn't stop being jealous when he was Korach. Could you imagine how deep it goes into your DNA? So a person who's always sad, what does that mean? He's always been sad. He came to this world to do what? To fix the sadness. How do you fix it? You have to, you can't have chesed. No. You can't have chesed. Chesed doesn't help it. You have to go to Gevura itself. So what did God do? You know what's the epitome of Gevura? Do you know, how do you know if you're from Chasadim or Gevurot? You know what's the epitome of Gevura? Zahav. Money talks. When a person has a lot of Zahav, you could be sure his soul is what? Straight from the Gevura. It's said that Korach found the keys to 1/3 of Yosef HaTzadik's safes. The Gemara says. You know what that means? He had white mules carrying just the keys. That's how rich he was. The Gemara says. It's a Gemara. It's like a midrash. He had white mules. You know what a white mule is? An albino mule. It's super expensive. He had and he was a Levi. He wasn't supposed to come out with money. They didn't work. That means he found it on his own accord. And he came out of Mitzrayim, Gabriel, just these white mules carrying the keys to his safe. Each mule carried a key. And what were those keys made out of? Feathers. Unbelievable. So he was so much Gevura. So Hashem said, Cain, Korach, I want to help you. But you have free will. I'm giving you the biggest kavod. You know what Mishlei says? The book of Proverbs by King Solomon. Rabim ohave ashir. Many people love a rich man. Everybody wants to sit next to them. Everybody wants to be their friend. Everybody loves them. Korach, you're so rich that you'll never lose it. He won the lottery and he'll never lose it. He found 1/3 of Yosef HaTzadik's treasure. I'm letting you sweeten the judgment in its source. Take it. What killed him at the end? Now that he's Gevura, but now I also want to be Chesed. Now I want to be a Kohen too. But you said you want to be Gevura, you want to be the firstborn, you want to be... Take it! No, it's never enough. It's never enough. On this same topic, I'm going to tell you a small story. We're going to end with this. A beautiful story that I heard today. Guys, I heard this story. I said, I have to share it with you. Amazing story. It has to do with chasadim, chesed. There is one food in this world, it's a liquid really, that symbolizes chesed. You guys know what it is? What was Israel known as? A land of flowing of milk and honey. Milk is color what? White. So Kabbalistically speaking, the milk is a food that is connected with chesed. Because it's so white. That's why you have coffee, right? Coffee is what color? Black. What do we put inside? Milk. Something white to sweeten it. Cafe, actually, it's a Kabbalistic numerical value. Maybe I'll teach it to you guys one day. But I read stories of one of the big rabbis called Rav Chaim Simvani. Every time he used to drink cafe, he was lactose intolerant, but he used to put in a couple of drops of water. Because water is also clear. It's chesed. So I'm sweetening the judgments before I drink the coffee. So it's not good to drink black coffee. That's something Kabbalistic. It's not a halakha, chas v'shalom.
Does that count?
I think so, yeah. I want to tell you guys a story about chesed. I think you guys are going to like this story. I'm sharing it with you because I think you guys will appreciate it. So there was this one rabbi in the 80s, not far, 20, 30 years ago, lived in Minnesota. At a Chabad house over there. Chabad house. No comments, Gavriel Gevura. He had a Chabad house. One day somebody calls the Chabad house. Thick Indian accent. Don't ask me to do it because I can't. And he said, is this a mikubal? So the rabbi on the other line thought that it was his brother playing a joke on him. So he was going along with the joke. He said, yes, I'm a mikubal. Mikubal is a Kabbalist. He said, my wife has a dibuk. It's a true story. I heard it from the person himself. What happened to him? I'll tell you then who it was. My wife has a dibuk. What's a dibuk, guys? A dibuk is when another soul takes possession of a human being. So the guy on the other hand, on the other line, some Indian sounding guy, says, do you perform exorcisms? You guys know what an exorcism means? When you remove that soul that's inside the possessed body. So he thought it was his brother, so he's playing a joke on him, and he said, of course I perform exorcism. So he says, okay, great, in 40 minutes we're coming to you. He said, great, come, I'm waiting for you. And I was waiting for the punchline. Hello, it's me, I'm playing a joke on you, but the guy actually hung up the phone. 40 minutes later, in a nice car, back in the day, in the 80s, what was a nice car? Cadillac?
No, that was a Mercury,
Mercury something, alright? That car pulls up to the Chabad house, and out comes an Israeli-looking guy with a thick Indian accent, and his wife. He says, are you the Mikubal? Now the rabbi started to get scared. Why? He thought it was all a joke. But being Chabad, he welcomed him in. That means if I have to play the role of a Mikubal, doing exorcisms, I'm going to do an exorcism. So he invites him inside the house, inside the Chabad house, brings him to his office, and the woman looked horrible. The way the rabbi described the story, she looked so dead, it was as if somebody had to remind her she was dead. She looked horrible. Mamash, like Gehenom, like a dead person. Sunken eyes, swollen, a person who hasn't slept in ages. Like Mamash, she said she was hideous to look at. I couldn't look at her. So the rabbi looks at the husband, and he said, "What's your name?" "David." "Where are you from?" "I'm originally from India. I moved to Israel. I went to the army. And I got a job I'm a meditator." You know what a meditator is, guys? A person who meditates. What do these people do? It's an actual thing. They learn how to empty their minds. It's a very hard thing to do. If you try it, you won't be able to do it for more than 15 seconds. Try to think of nothing. You won't be able to do it more than 15 seconds. Something will pop into your brain. So he says, there is a certain sakana. How you say sakana? Danger in doing this. Sometimes when you empty your head for too long, another from the outside thought process or spirit could take control of your brain. Meditators know this. So we were meditating for more than an hour. That means our minds went blank. There's a certain kind of pleasure in it when your mind goes totally blank. And when my wife got out of the trance, a man was speaking from her. A man. And these people are not, they're Jewish, from Israel, not religious, nothing, goyim mamash. And in the middle of the night, she wakes up, and this voice inside of her tells her, she gets the strength of 10 men, she beats up her husband, and the voice tells her, "I'm not going to leave you alone until you kill your children and yourself." A voice inside of her, and she mamash becomes like a gorilla, and she starts to beat up her husband, and from so much, it's a true story, from so much craziness, they had to take the kids to a different house. They couldn't have the kids, she was a threat. So the husband said, I took her to a psychic, or a real psychic. You know, there's such a thing as real psychics. And when the psychic started to get into a trance, when she woke up from her trance, she said, "Get out of my office. I cannot deal with this thing. Just get out." And they said, "Help us. Get out of my office. We don't want to help you." We went to psychics. We went to all these kind of witches and this. This is Minnesota. This is not New York. In New York, you know, you have these kind of, but this is out there in the Midwest. So we got really scared. So we went to Kabbalists. So the Kabbalists gave us kamiyas. How do you say kamiyas? Amulets. They put us something under our tongue. We said something. Nothing works. Every night she wakes up in a drunken stupor. She beats me up. She becomes like a monster. And she wants to kill herself and the kids. This has been going on for a while. And as you can see, he shows his wife. And it always happens at night. And the woman looks horrible. Like Gehenom has taken possession of her. Mamash. So we had no choice. I came to Minnesota on a job visa, work visa. I'm here. I worked in the computers in the army. Now I'm here working with computers. It's back in the day with the big IBMs. You know those computers that took half of the room? So I'm on a work visa, and we decided psychics aren't working, witches aren't working, mediators aren't working. So we decided to try a rabbi. Now they know nothing about Judaism, nothing. So we opened up the yellow page. Back then there was yellow pages. So they opened up a yellow pages, and we looked up the first synagogue in Minnesota. We found a Reform temple. We called up the Reform temple, and I said, we're looking for somebody who could take out dibooks. What's a dibook? Exorcisms. Go to the Chabad house. And they hung up the phone on us. So we go to the Chabad house. Now the rabbi is starting to panic there. He said, listen, I don't know anything about exorcism. The books. But the Rebbe Mulabavitch was alive back then. He says, give me your name, your wife's name and her mother's name. I'm going to send it to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And let's see what he says. But I'm only going to do this on one condition, Avraham. What? Whatever he says, you have to do. Shake on it. We'll do anything. Listen. You know what it is for a woman to wake up in the middle of the night with the strength of 10 men? Just you don't want to know. So I say yes. He sends in the message through fax. People back then used to use fax. People still use fax, right?
Yes.
Within a day, the Rebbe Milabavitch answered back. And when the rabbi sent the message, he wrote down specific. He didn't make the story seem unbelievable. He wrote to the Rebbe Milabavitch, the seventh Rebbe, the one. He wrote exactly what the husband said. He didn't exaggerate. Exactly word for word, he wrote in the letter. He sent the letter in. The Rebbe Milabavitch, within a day, answered back. The secretary back then of the Rebbe was a rabbi called Benjamin Klein. Benjamin Klein calls back, says, the Rebbe answered back. I'm sending you a fax of the Rebbe's answer. He gets the fax. What does it say? Tell them to keep kosher. Tell them to keep kosher. Be very careful with kosher. He calls up, and the Rebbe said, you got to keep it now. That's the handshake deal. Man's word is a man's word. Calls up the husband, says, listen, I got to answer back from my rabbi. He said, you have to keep kosher. What's kosher? It was right before Shabbat. You couldn't invite them. They lived a couple of towns down. He said, for a while, go downstairs to the marketplace. It was before Shabbat. Buy yourself a box of matzah. Can't go wrong with matzah ever. And buy yourself a can of sardines. And you'll be good. So that's what your rabbi said. Yeah, that's what he said. Okay, I'll do it. Shabbat comes out right away. The rabbi calls back to the guy. He says, knew how it goes. Don't worry. I went downstairs to the store. I found a guy with a yarmulke. And he told me there's OU, there's Chafkei, there's this. Don't worry, we had a lot to eat. So he said, okay, come to the office. Let me teach you what's kosher. Let me come to your house. He went to their house. He put everything in a mikvah. He koshered the dishes for them. He did everything for them. He koshered. You got to keep kosher now. Okay, keep kosher. This was a month before Passover. 1 month, he has no contact with them. A month passes by. It's Erev Pesach. Chabad house calls a lot of Jewish people. They invite them for the Seder. So the rabbi calls up the husband. Says, "Nu, how is it going?" Because we haven't had an incident since. No incident at all? There's no. I'm inviting you from my house for Passover because go explain to them what's chametz, what's b'dikat chametz now, what's this. Get out of here. Well, Ashkenazim keep gebrukt. Don't ask me where they came up with this word, gebrukt. It sounds like a cool thing in Soho, gebrukt. Welcome to gebrukt. Keep all these weird stuff. Okay, come. They peel their tomatoes. I don't know. Don't ask me. Gabriel, you're awake? So they come for Pesach. Lady knocks on the door. He opens the door. Day before Passover. Yes, can I help you? I'm here for the Seder. Did you make a reservation? You invited me. Yeah. Who are you? I'm that lady that the dibuk, the exorcism. The rabbi couldn't believe it. New human being. He didn't recognize her. New, like mamash, a new person. New human. They stay for Passover. Look what's kosher, Gabriel. Look what it means to keep kosher. They stay for Passover. At the end of Yom Tov, the husband calls the rabbi again. He says, I have to tell you something, I couldn't wait. Pesach was over, I gotta call you and let you know. I know you keep Passover, this, that. You didn't know 8 days, 7 days, what you do? I called you, let you know. My work visa ended, and because of my wife problems, they fired me from the job. Back in the day, I've been looking for a job. Because one day my wife beat me up so bad, I came to work with bandages and everything. They came late half an hour. I said, get the heck out of it. We don't need a worker like you. Who knows what you were doing in some bar back in the day? You Israeli soldier, used to be Israeli soldier. Get out of here. We don't need you. I've been looking for work ever since. My 6 months visa is ending. Now I have to go back to Israel. So I went to a psychic to help me see the future, to help see what will happen. I go to the psychic, and the psychic tells me, I can't help you. Why can't you help me? I see you're getting a lot of energy from a human being that stands really tall, and he has a very long beard, and he has a master soul. Psychics have this kind of word. They call them living masters. They talk with the dead, but when they connect with a human being, they call them living masters. Like only one psychic a generation gets in touch with them. I see you're in contact with a living master. I can't help you. The fact that you're in contact with him, I cannot help you. So please leave. Do whatever he says. I'm here to help me find a job. I didn't come here to tell you, for you to tell me I'm in contact with a living master. I can't help you. Go back to that rabbi. And she described the psychic, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, piece by piece. Black hat, blue eyes, long nails. A little bit, he had long nails. He couldn't cut them. He had a certain kind of issue. And with the long black hair, he stood very straight, tall man. She described him word for word. She was in a trance. So this guy is telling the rabbi, the Chabad rabbi over the phone, all of this. He said, could you believe what's been happening? So the rabbi, I don't believe you. A psychic is going to see the Lubavitcher Rebbe. So he said, yes, this is what's been happening. Because I want to see the psychic for myself. It's Minnesota. This is out Midwest in Minnesota. He goes to the psychic, and he thought he was going to see some crazy lady with a big nose, with a big pimple, he sees a young lady with a cigarette, with her leg, and all around. Guy's like, what, this is a psychic? And he asks her, what did you see? She explains to him what she saw. Do you ever remember when you come out of a trance, what you saw? She says, I never remember. Because they get into trances. This is a true story. Because if I show you a couple of pictures of rabbis, you're going to tell me who you saw? Says, yeah. She shows him a couple of pictures. Says, this is the rabbi. The Lubavitcher. Says, who is this person? You were in a trance. Says, this is what we call a living master. In Kabbalah, we call it a neshama klalit, a soul that includes many souls. Only one. She said to him, the rabbi, I was so excited when I got in contact with him that I called my teacher and I said, you know what I did? Even something you didn't do. I got in contact with a living master, quote unquote. Unbelievable. Could you imagine? So the person, so he tells this David, so how can I help? He says, could you please tell your rabbi to pray for me to get a job? He helped my wife. He says, okay. He sends a message to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Please, he takes this guy's name, David Ben, I don't know, some Indian name, to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he calls day after day after day, no answer. The other letter, he got an answer within 24 hours. This one, a week. So he calls the secretary, Benjamin Klein, says, Rabbi Benjamin Klein says, well, how come the Rebbe's not answering? I don't know. Every day I go inside the office, the letter is on his desk, he doesn't open it. Or he opened it, he doesn't want to answer it. A week later, he gets an answer from the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he tells him, give me the girl's name. But I'm asking for the husband, not for just give me her name again. So he gets the name and he calls her up. The rabbi calls the woman again, the one that had the dibuk. He says to her, what's your mother's name? How's it going, by the way? How was the voices? Under control. Wait, what do you mean? Under control. Because they come here and there, but they're under control. They don't bother me so much. What do you mean they're under control? You told me they were gone. He says, yeah, but listen, there's no kosher milk in Minnesota. We have to go all the way to St. Paul's, milk our own milk. We don't have a freezer. And I don't like the Chalav YISRAEL milk. I like the, OUD, Akol olech, akol ba. No, says the rabbi. We made a deal that you're going to follow the laws of kashrut to the letter. If the rabbi said to keep it and it was working, you telling me you're not going to keep Chalav YISRAEL right now? Look what the difference was between keeping Chalav YISRAEL. She took upon herself to keep Chalav YISRAEL. They went, they bought a freezer, they stored milk, Chalav YISRAEL milk, they milked it by themselves, and the voices went away again. Oh, you did! This rabbi said it's okay, this and that. This is, I'm telling you a true story. It's not for nothing. The Shulchan Aruch says it causes Timtum Alev. You know what Timtum Alev is? Stupidity of the soul. Chalav YISRAEL! Oh, everything is cow milk. Yeah, halacha, yeah, everything is cow milk. But I'm telling you a story, b'muchashi. Still, the Lubavitcher Rebbe didn't help the husband. 6 months passed. He meets the husband in a convenience store. He says, what's going on with you? He said, you'll be happy to hear that we're divorced. What? I'm definitely not happy to hear that. What happened? He says, oh, you didn't know? I'm not really Jewish. The husband, the Lubavitcher Rebbe couldn't tell this guy what to do. Why? The names he gave them were what? Not Jewish. And once the woman became religious enough, if kosher could help me become sane again, how could I stay married to a Gentile? Do you understand what I'm telling you guys over here? This is a bomb story, And this is a rabbi, you could call him up and ask him if the story is true. His name is Rabbi Manis Friedman. He's still alive? Yeah.
He's a good rabbi.
He's pretty good?
I got his 2 books.
I read his 2 books. Benny Friedman's father and Avram Fried's brother. That's his book right there. There, you see right there, you see? Tell me that's not a coincidence, guys.
Avram Fried's brother?
Yeah, it's Avram Fried's brother. It's really Friedman, but it's shorter than Fried. Could you imagine what Chalav YISRAEL is? Chesed, Chalav YISRAEL. I haven't eaten Chalav Akum in years. I used to eat it normally, like it was nothing. My brother once came back from yeshiva and he told me, he said, I was already in college. He said, you can't eat Chalav Akum. I said, why not? It's OUD, it's for sure cow milk. He said, it causes Timtum Alev. It causes your soul to be stupid. I said, what? I'm the one in college over here, you know that, right? That's not what that means, he said. It's not what that means. Now I understand what that means. Whoever, it's chesed. When you have chesed, it has to come from a pure source. Pure source. It's not simple stuff. The Shulchan Aruch said, everything in America is cow milk, yes? But just the fact that a Jewish person was watching it makes it Chalav YISRAEL. You want to drink Chalav YISRAEL or Chalav Yishmael? The choice is up to you. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Anybody here can say Kaddish?